Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another week of Premier League predictions. This is week 9. But as always, before we get into today's predictions for this week, let's talk about last match day. Not last week, because last week there wasn't any games, but 2 weeks ago, match day 8. And my predictions. How many did I get right? How many points did I get? Before I get into it, as always, if you guys don't know how this works, you get half a point for every team you get correct for the win, and if you get the exact scoreline correct, you get 1 point. So that's just that. Before we get into it, I just wanted to let you guys know that. But let's get into it. First up, last match day started with Luton Town against Spurs. It was a 1-0 Spurs win. I went with Luton Town 1, Spurs 3. So I didn't get the correct scoreline, but it's a win, so half a point. Fulham against Sheffield United, it finished 3-1. Fulham, I went with a 1-0 Fulham win, that's another half a point. Burnley against Chelsea, it was Burnley 1, Chelsea 4. I went with Burnley 1, Chelsea 2, another half a point. Manchester United against Brentford, I had it. I went with 1-1. But Scott McTominay had to win it for Manchester United in the 97th minute. So that's no point. Everton against Bournemouth. Wow, I was surprised. I thought Bournemouth would win, but I guess that was a bold prediction. I went with Everton 0, Bournemouth 1. It was Everton 3, Bournemouth 0. We remain on 1.5 points. Crystal Palace against Nottingham Forest. I went with 2-2. It was a boring 0-0, so let's have a point. 2 points. Brighton against Liverpool. It finished 2-2. I went with a 2-1 Liverpool win, so no points there. West Ham against Newcastle United. I went with 1-1. It was 2-2, so that's another half a point. So far, we're on 2.5 points. Wolves against Aston Villa. It was 1-1. I went with a 4-1 Aston Villa win, so that was off. And the last game, the match of the week, Arsenal against Manchester City. I went with a 3-2 Man City win. It was a 1-0 Arsenal win, so I was not close. So that's literally 2.5 points. Not a great weekend, not gonna lie. Let me just get in the 2.5 points. Hopefully we can bounce back to get 3 and above. Let's hope. But let's do this. Right, let's start off this match day. Yeah, Premier League match day 9 predictions. Okay, let's start off. We have got a big game to start off the week. Merseyside derby. Liverpool hosts Everton at Anfield. By the way, let's talk about the match of the week. We've got, in fact, 3. Technically Merseyside derby. We've got Man City Brighton. We've got Chelsea Arsenal. And technically 4, right? Aston Villa West Ham. So we've got 4 really good matches. I will personally choose Chelsea Arsenal as the match of the week, but we'll get into that later. But let's start off with Liverpool against Everton. Now Liverpool come into this game with a draw against Brighton away. Of course, are they title challengers now? Who knows? It's pretty early to judge. Everton, they went away to Brentford, got a good result, and then they lost at home to Luton Town, and then they bounced back against Bournemouth. It's very inconsistent from Everton, and nothing suggests that it won't be inconsistent again. I'm going to Liverpool 3, Everton 1. I can't see Everton getting anything out of this game against their rivals, the City rivals, and especially at Anfield against Klopp and his men, who are on absolute fire form right now. They're in the top 4. Obviously, they lost really unfairly against Spurs with some horrible decisions from the referee and VAR. But I'm going to go Liverpool 3, Everton 1. This is a good game for Liverpool to get back into the algorithm of winning. Brentford hosts Burnley. Brentford, I think, should have at least deserved a draw against Manchester United. But, of course, Scott McTominay won them the game. Burnley got absolutely pumped at home against Chelsea. it has a draw written all over it, but I'm gonna go with Brentford 1, Burnley nil. I think we all see Brentford as this side that will probably finish in the top 10, maybe 10th, maybe 11th at most. It's not been a particularly good start to the season. I don't think they'll be in that relegation zone, but I think they have to start picking up some points, and I think this is a perfect game at home at the G-Tech Community Stadium against a Burnley side that are struggling. I think this should be a pretty good result for Brentford, even if it's just a 1-0 win. Bournemouth against Wolves. Bournemouth last week, and not last weekend, last match day against Everton, absolutely smashed Wolves. Pretty good form coming to this game. They got a draw at home against Villa. They beat Man City earlier. I'm gonna go Bournemouth 1, Wolves 2. Although I would like to say that I still have Wolves as my 18th position team to get relegated. I still have that. That was my prediction at the start of the season. They have actually played pretty well since Gary O'Neill came in, but let's see what happens. I don't think Bournemouth are strong enough, and I do think Bournemouth could be a team in that relegation zone pretty soon. Nottingham Forest against Luton Town. Forest, a couple of draws in the last few games. They drew Burnley, I believe. Obviously, they drew Crystal Palace last match day. They have to get the win. Of course, Nottingham Forest have won some big games. For example, against Chelsea. They've already played Arsenal and Manchester United as well. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win over Luton Town. I can't see Luton Town getting anything away from it. But then again, we sit there against Everton, and Luton Town went away against Everton and got a big win. Who knows, but Luton Town have to play at their absolute best to get something away. Manchester City against Brighton, one of the 4 match of the weeks, I would say. Now, Manchester City, did I say Man United? Wait, I forgot what I said, but it's Man City against Brighton. Now, Man City coming off 2 losses in a row against Wolves and Arsenal. Brighton coming off a draw against Liverpool. Again, this has a draw written all of it, doesn't it? But I think Man City have to get back into form. I'm going to give a narrow 2-1 Man City win here. If they lose 3 in a row, I think there is talks for Liverpool, for Arsenal, or even Spurs to get in the title charge. I think there is a real possibility. I think Man City can't afford to lose this game. They have to win. So I'm going to go with Man City 2, Brighton 1. Newcastle United against Crystal Palace. Yes, Crystal Palace have played really well, but you're talking about Newcastle United here. I'm going to go 3-1 Newcastle United. They have played pretty well, Palace as well, but it's Newcastle United. They're on a whole different level coming to this game, of course. But of course, they did draw against West Ham, but it was away from home, to be fair. Chelsea against Arsenal, my match of the week, because we've got 2 sides that are starting to pick up some form. Chelsea, on one hand, starting to get some wins. Of course, won against Burnley last match day as well. So realistically, they're starting to get back into the algorithm. And for Arsenal, beat the champions. Can they, get a title charge? Who knows? This is a tough game to predict. I'm gonna go Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1. I know. It's so boring to go with a draw, but I can't see anything separating these two in a one-off. If you're comparing the whole season, I can say Arsenal will definitely finish above Chelsea. But these 2 teams coming into this game, nothing really separating these 2 teams in terms of their last game. So I'm going to go for 1-1. Sheffield United holds Manchester United. I'm going to go with a 1-0 Man United win. They have to get the win. If they lose to Sheffield United, I don't know what to say. So I'm gonna go Sheffield United 0, Manchester United 1. And arguably, the last match of the week, Aston Villa against West Ham. Aston Villa, a draw against Wolves away. I didn't really expect that, but before that, I mean, absolutely smashed Brighton. West Ham have beaten Brighton as well earlier on, but they got themselves a good draw against Newcastle. They're winning games. This is a tough game. This is like Aston Villa against Brighton, by the way. This is the same exact game. I'm gonna edge it to Villa. I'm gonna go 3-1 Villa because I went with a Brighton win, thinking, you know what, they're gonna go to Villa Park and they're gonna stir up something, and they went there and got pumped. I think Villa Park will just get absolutely great atmosphere for the Villa players as well, and they've got good players. I mean, Musa Diaby as well, players like that who can change the game. So I'm gonna go with a 3-1 Aston Villa win. Lastly, Spurs against Fulham. You might see it weird that it's pretty small. It was actually not on the same row as Villa West Ham. I'm not sure why. So I've had to, basically cut it out and paste it here. But let's do it. Spurs against Fulham. Spurs coming into a good game. Of course, you have to realize that in the cup game recently, Fulham did beat Spurs, although it was on penalties. So I'm gonna go Spurs 2, Fulham 0, and they'll continue their pretty good form. Of course, Spurs have a couple of good run-ins going into the next few games, of course. So yeah, it's pretty decent for Spurs in the next few games. Fulham, will they be a team in a relegation battle? Who knows? I don't think so, but you can never be too sure. But that is my predictions for this match week. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Hit that button if you did, subscribe to the channel on already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.